What's up, people? Welcome back to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. Hope everyone is doing well on this Friday evening. I hope you had a good day or morning or evening wherever you are in the world. Obviously, it's evening here in the UK. I'm feeling particularly positive. The weekend is about to start and we have football to watch tomorrow. I'm absolutely buzzing for the match tomorrow against Lens, and I'm absolutely buzzing to see Rasmus Holland in that new Manchester United shirt. So yeah, if anybody has been living under a rock, Rasmus Holland will be revealed to the Old Trafford crowd tomorrow at the game against Lens around probably 12:30 kind of time. We will be doing a watch along for that game as well. So if you are around tomorrow, if you do want to get involved with that, we will be live from about 12 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So yeah, make sure you are involved. As always, we've got an absolutely massive show for you guys this evening. So please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new here. We're going to be talking about Eric Bailly. We're going to be talking about Diagne, Henderson, Amrabat, Scott McTominay, Harry Maguire, a new signing that we've actually made. We've made a signing today. So yeah, we will be talking about this surprise signing that's coming today. What else have we got to talk about? A couple of other bits as well. We've got a bit of news about Harry Kane. Yeah, so much to get into. So do get involved in the comment section. Do let me know if you're watching. And do just give your opinions on things, because I always do love seeing what you guys have to say about different topics. Right, let's start off with some positivity then. Let's start things off. So let's start off with this new signing. Everybody's probably wondering, who the hell is this new signing? So I will put you out of your misery. Here we go. So we have just signed a player called Harry Amas. The story goes as follows. Confirmed, Harry Amas has officially joined Manchester United from Watford. The contract has been signed and medical has been passed. The announcement will be soon. So for anybody wondering who the hell is Harry Amas, I thought the same thing, to be completely honest with you. So I thought I'd better do some research into him. He is a very, very young. He's only 16 years of age. He is a defender, a left back. He used to be at Watford. I watched a couple of videos about him. I've read a couple of scout reports and he's really, really highly regarded. So this is actually a good signing. I know it's not the most exciting one, but this Harry Amas guy is somebody who is touted to go on to be a good player in the future. So yeah, quite excited about that. Obviously, he will go into the under-21s. He's not going to come straight into the first team, but there was quite a lot of other clubs who were fighting for this guy's signature, and Manchester United have managed to get him from Watford. We're not exactly sure what the fee is at this stage, but as I said, he will just be going straight into the youth team. But he is highly rated, and all of the bits I saw of him overnight, all of the kind of scout reports I've read and stuff, they were all saying that he is somebody who they think is going to make it as, you know, a proper international professional footballer. He isn't somebody, you know, he's not just your average youth player. So yeah, I think that's really, really positive, and it's good to see us, you know, getting these youth players again, because it's been quite a while since we brought through all of these younger players. Obviously, we just signed Darren Fletcher's two sons, didn't we? Again, I didn't really know much about them, but I did some research, and apparently both of them are really, really talented. So yeah, I think it is positive. I know it's not the signing you probably were all hoping for, but it was a bit of a surprise signing for me, because to be completely honest with you, I've never heard of this guy before about 24 hours ago. But all of the bits of information I have seen about him, he does look pretty good. So yeah, that's the surprise signing, which, as I said, might not be the most exciting one. Maybe some people were tuning in this evening and thought we just signed Mbappe, but unfortunately, we have not signed Mbappe. We've signed Harry Amas from Watford. But let's keep things moving anyway. Let's talk about some of the outgoings at Manchester United, and let's talk about Eric Bailly, because so many of you in the chat ask me constantly, Eric Bailly, what's going on with him? Is he still at the club? Is he left? Because nobody's heard anything about Bailly for weeks, have we? We have had a story come out this afternoon from Sky Sports, and Sky Sports are reporting the following. They say there is interest from now 2 Saudi Pro League clubs in Manchester United defender Eric Bailly. He is not part of Erik ten Hag's plans moving forward. So the Saudi clubs have come back in for Eric Bailly, and it does look like he will be leaving the club. Obviously, he's been training at Carrington on his own. He didn't go on the pre-season tour. He's 100% been frozen out of Erik ten Hag's plans, and he doesn't see him as having a future at the club, which is the right decision, I think. He's got 1 year left on his contract. We 100% need to cash in on Eric Bailly now, because if we keep him till next season, he's not going to play, and then he'll go for free. So any money we can get for Bailly at this moment in time would be very, very positive. I would imagine the fee will be somewhere between £5 and maybe £12 million, something around that kind of mark. It'll probably be relatively similar to the fee we got for Alex Telles, which was around £6 million, wasn't it? Eric Bailly's 29 years of age, so he's a little bit younger than Alex Telles, but I'd say they're probably a similar profile by way of, they're both good footballers. They both have played a lot of games for Manchester United. They both still play at international level, but they both definitely, you know, were surplus to requirements at Manchester United. So as long as we do get a fee for him, and as long as it's anything between 5 and 12 million, I think would be a good deal for us. Obviously, now that it's Saudi clubs that have entered the race, you do hope that you get closer to that £12 million price. Because any money we get, we can just reinvest in other areas of the squad, you know. We did pay a lot of money for him. We paid 38 million euros for Eric Bailly. But at the end of the day, we can't just keep constantly looking in the past, you know. We have to focus on the future. And it does look like he will be leaving the club. We're not sure exactly who the Saudi Arabian clubs are. Sky Sports ultimately just reported there's 2 Saudi clubs who are ultimately fighting for his signature. But we're not sure which ones they are. Obviously, as soon as we get a confirmation on what the fee will be, we will, of course, bring that to you. But as it stands, Eric Bailly looks set to move to Saudi Arabia. Yeah, it's good. I'm just looking back through our timeline, and the last time there was any news about Eric Bailly was on the 26th of July. So there hasn't been a single story about Eric Bailly leaving the club for over 10 days. And today was the first day in 10 days where we spoke about Eric Bailly. That's crazy, isn't it? So for 10 days, there's been no news linking him to leaving the club. Not a single story. The last one was on the 26th of July. So, oh. Sorry, everybody. My dog's just knocked over them. I was right in the swing of things there. This is the criminal. She just knocked over my table with the lamp on. Yeah, so there's literally been nothing about Eric Bailly for over 10 days, and the last story was saying that Al Nassr, the club that Cristiano Ronaldo plays for, was supposedly in for him. Go off to your bed. Go on. The dog's usually not allowed up here, but yeah, the dog has made its way up and it's just knocked over the camera. Anyway, let's crack on with the rest of the show. Let's keep things moving. A bit of a technical difficulty there. This is the problem where you let dogs into your workplace, you know. So yeah, we'll keep you updated on the Eric Bailly situation, but as it stands, it does look like he will be going to Saudi Arabia. Yeah, I think that's good. I really, really do. Let's talk about Dean Henderson, though. That's another player who I know a lot of you in the chat really, really want to get out of the club. Obviously, he's not going to get any game time at Manchester United, is he, Dean Henderson? Ever since he did that interview with TalkSport, I think everybody's kind of been out to get him, haven't they? So there is a little bit of bad news about Dean Henderson, to be completely honest with you. We did speak about this a couple of days ago, that Nottingham Forest, who are obviously the team really pushing for his signature, Nottingham Forest are apparently about to submit a bid for Matt Turner, who is the backup goalkeeper at Arsenal. Fabrizio Romano reported this earlier on today. He said Nottingham Forest have submitted an official bid for Matt Turner. I understand the proposal has been made for a permanent transfer and talks are progressing with Arsenal. So I don't really know how this has happened. You know, we've been negotiating with Forest for the past month with Dean Henderson, and now they're putting in a bid for somebody else, even though they told us they didn't have the money to buy Dean Henderson and they wanted him on loan. So it is a bit of a confusing one to get my head around, to be completely honest. But Sky Sports have come out since that initial article and have said apparently Nottingham Forest are still in talks with Manchester United over Dean Henderson. And they've said that apparently they might look to sign Dean Henderson as well as this Matt Turner guy. I'm not really sure about this. It is a bit confusing. Like, why do they need 2 goalkeepers? If anybody in the chat knows more about Nottingham Forest, do let me know. Obviously, they have Keylor Navas, don't they? Or has he gone back to PSG now? I'm a bit confused about this one. Like, it looked set on that Dean Henderson would go to Nottingham Forest, but now they're putting in bids for other goalkeepers. So I really, really don't know, to be honest. I do feel like we've been taken for a mug here. The fact that we've been negotiating with them for a month, 2 months, they've been putting in ridiculous bids, you know, loan offers, obligation to buy offers, and now they've just gone and put in an actual cash bid for another player at another club. It doesn't really make sense to me, and if I'm Manchester United, I would just turn around to them and say, either you cough up the money now, or you know, or we're not going to sell him to you, because there must be somebody else who would want to buy Dean Henderson. You know, I know a lot of you in the chat want him out of the club and all the rest of it, but he's not a bad goalkeeper. He would definitely walk into the Nottingham Forest team. He'd definitely walk into a Luton. He'd walk into a Burnley. You know, he could play in probably most of the teams in the bottom half of the table. So I'm not really sure how this has happened. Obviously, I will keep you updated as and when we get more news on it. But Fabrizio has reported that Matt Turner, an official bid has gone in for Matt Turner from Nottingham Forest. So yeah, we have been taken for mugs. As somebody said in the chat, we have been taken for mugs. Nottingham Forest have pulled the wool over our eyes. And yeah, now it looks like, I honestly don't know what will happen with Dean Henderson. If we end up loaning him out, I'll be really, really disappointed, because we definitely should be getting 20 million for that player, 100%. Manchester City just sold their youth team goalkeeper, who nobody's ever heard of, to Burnley for close to 20 million. And yet we can't sell Dean Henderson, who's played for England. He's, you know, played matches for Manchester United. You know, he's a professional footballer. He's in his mid-20s. Very, very confusing. Maybe it's something to do with his wages. He's obviously on a hell of a lot of money. He's on about 100 grand a week. This Matt Turner guy is probably on a tenth of that, so maybe that's kind of played into the the conversation. Matt Turner, the Arsenal goalkeeper, is only on. I know I bang on about this on every single show, and some people just kind of ignore me when I say this, but the issue a lot of the time does kind of fall back to the wages. It really, really does. So Matt Turner at Arsenal is on 35 grand a week, whereas Dean Henderson's on 100 grand a week. So if you're Nottingham Forest, you can get this Matt Turner guy for probably a quarter of the price that we want for Dean Henderson, and you only have to pay him a third of what Dean Henderson would want in wages. So when you actually break it down like that, it does make these deals quite difficult to do. I'm not trying to justify it. I'm just trying to give a bit of clarity on it so people aren't just constantly annoyed. Anyway, we've got over 500 of you in the chat, which is absolutely amazing. Massive shouts to everybody who is joining us on this stream this evening. Please do smash a like on the video if you haven't already, and please do subscribe to the channel. We're only 70 subscribers away from 8,500. If we hit 8,500 by the end of this stream today, I will gift a membership to the Daily Red Devil Members Club to somebody in the chat. So do please go and subscribe now if you haven't already. I'm going to drop a link in the chat to subscribe. It doesn't cost any money. It's completely free. So go and subscribe now, and I will gift a membership to somebody if we hit 8,500 by the end of this stream today. Right, but let's keep things rolling on this show this evening, and let's jump over to something positive. Let's talk about Amrabat. Let's talk about Amrabat very, very quickly. Right, so we can confirm that Sofyan Amrabat has not been called up for the Fiorentina game. So Fiorentina played a match against Newcastle United this afternoon, and they've also got another game in a couple of days in the UK. Sofyan Amrabat has not been called up to the games. Fabrizio Romano has reported the following. Sofyan Amrabat has not been called up for the Fiorentina game. Manchester United are expected to open formal talks for Amrabat as soon as either Fred and Donny van de Beek are close to leaving the club. So we have got news on both of them to bring you in a minute. But just to be very, very clear, Sofyan Amrabat has not featured in the friendly game against Newcastle today. He's not even on the bench, and he will not feature in any of the Fiorentina's other friendly games. So I would say he's as good as gone, to be completely honest. I do think that Amrabat will become a Manchester United player. I've said this to you many, many times before. I think it's a matter of when, not if. I would say he'll be a player within the next week. I reckon we'll get the here we go for Amrabat. That's what I would say if I was going to bet on it. So the story goes as follows. Fabrizio has also said that Manchester United... where is it? There we go. Manchester United are expecting to open formal talks for Amrabat very soon as Fred and Donny van de Beek are both close to leaving the club. So I know we've been hearing this for a very long time, but Donny van de Beek and Fred are the vital piece of this puzzle. Both of them, or either of them, need to leave the club, and then Manchester United will submit this official bid. I'm not really too worried about the Amrabat signing anymore. I honestly think it will happen. I'd say I'm 95% sure that Amrabat will be a Manchester United player at this point. He's rejected offers from Saudi. He's rejected 2 offers from Saudi Arabia. Apparently they were offering him crazy wages, and he said, no, I want to go to Manchester United. Obviously, West Ham supposedly put in a bid of around 30 million euros. He said, no, I'm not going there. Liverpool were in the race. There's been 2 or 3 other clubs who have been trying to sign Amrabat, and he wants to come to Manchester United. He wants to play under Erik ten Hag. And that's part of the reason that's really, really attracting to me to this player, because at the end of the day, we want people who are desperate to come to Manchester United. We want people who understand why or what Manchester United means as a club and why they want to come here. So yeah, I honestly do just think it's a matter of when or not if. Sorry, a matter of when, not if, for Sofyan Amrabat. We're not entirely sure who the Saudi clubs were who put in the bid, but supposedly it was 2 clubs in Saudi Arabia. Fabrizio says, Amrabat has no doubt. He has said yes to Manchester United. He wants the move since first talks in June, despite rich bids from Saudi Arabia. I understand he never said he's staying or anything similar. No official bid yet. Manchester United will send it as soon as Fred or Donny leave. So he's doing everything he possibly can to get this move over the line, Amrabat. You know, he's not going on the pre-season tour. He's not going to Saudi. He's rejecting Saudi Arabia. He's rejecting West Ham. He's rejecting tangible offers that are on the table for him, because at this point, Manchester United have spoke about personal terms, but they haven't submitted a bid. There is a chance that Manchester United never submit a bid, but he's saying, I'm not going to go to Saudi. I'm not going to go to West Ham. I'm going to wait for Manchester United. So that's a massive, massive thumbs up for me, and I cannot wait to see him play for Manchester United. I did do a poll earlier on the channel, and I want to bring this into the show actually as well. So we did a little poll in the community section of the channel. So if you aren't a subscriber, go and subscribe and you can get involved in all of these polls. The poll question was, who would you rather sign at Manchester United? So I'd like to echo this to the chat and get you guys' opinions. The question, as I said, is who would you rather sign at Manchester United? And the three options are Leon Goretzka, Romeo Lavia or Sofian Amrabat. Let me know in the comment section who you're picking and let me know what your reasons are. Mine is Sofian Amrabat, 100%. And we've had over 2,000 people vote on our poll and 83% of you have voted for Sofian Amrabat. That is absolutely incredible. It really, really is. And it shows how much the fan base want this player, how desperate we are to sign him. Leon Goretzka is a no from me. Romeo Lavia I really like, but I just think any stories linking us to Lavia were probably unrealistic at this point, to be straight with you. There's another story coming out right now actually about Sofian Amrabat. So there's a story coming out now saying that apparently Sofian Amrabat has said goodbye to his teammates and is already looking for a place to stay in the Manchester area. He was incredibly enthusiastic about Erik ten Hag's plans for him, expressing to his agent that he is determined to join Manchester United above any other club. Amrabat eagerly looks forward to commencing training with his new squad at the earliest opportunity. So he's literally desperate. He is absolutely begging to come to Manchester United. That is exactly what we want. And do smash a like on the video if you want to see Sofian Amrabat at Manchester United. It's a massive yes from me, 100%. Let's have a look at what people are saying in the chat. Everybody is saying Amrabat. Literally everybody's spamming Amrabat. Yeah, it's set in the stars, isn't it? Everybody wants this guy. Okay, let's talk about Harry Kane really, really quickly. I know you're probably all sat there saying, why are we talking about this guy? But we have been heavily linked to him all summer, so I do think it is relevant. Bayern Munich have just put in their final offer for Harry Kane. They've offered £85 million for Harry Kane, and they've set a deadline of this evening. So Daniel Levy has to let Bayern Munich know by the end of today whether he accepts their bid of £85 million. I wanted to ask this to the chat. I think it's 85 including add-ons, so it might be 70 up front plus add-ons. I'm not sure the exact breakdown of the deal, but yeah, apparently it's 85 million including add-ons is what's been offered from Bayern Munich. Would you, if we had the budget, would you match that bid? Do you think 85 million is a good deal for Harry Kane? Bear in mind that he reportedly wanted around 500k a week. It's really, really difficult, isn't it? Yeah, so the offer is apparently £80 million plus add-ons for Harry Kane from Bayern Munich, and the deadline is tonight. Would you enter the race at this point? Would you put in a bid for Harry Kane? Obviously, 85 million is a lot of money. He does get you 30 goals, though, this season, definitely. But let me know in the comment section, would you enter the race for Harry Kane? There's a lot of people in the chat saying, are we going to put in a late bid for Harry Kane? What do you think, Kieran? That's why I've brought this one up, because I do want to get the community's opinions on this question. So do let me know in the comment section, would you put in a last-minute bid for Harry Kane? To be honest, today could be the last day we ever talk about him, because Bayern Munich have set this deadline by the end of today. If they say no, he'll go for free next summer, I think. If they don't accept this bid today, I don't see him moving. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, but do let me know what you think about that one. For me, it's the wage budget. That's the bit that's the big issue. It really, really is. But anyway, let's move on to something else, and do keep getting your comments in. Do keep letting me know whether you would put in a last-minute bid for Harry Kane. Right, now let's talk about Harry Maguire. Let's move from one Harry to another Harry. There has been so many stories coming out today about Harry Maguire and also about Scott McTominay, two players who I know a lot of people in this community are really, really keen to push out of the door. This has come out from a various different of journalists, and so there's quite a lot to get into on this topic today, so do bear with me on this one. The first bit of news comes out saying that apparently David Moyes is desperate to sign Harry Maguire. However, Manchester United are holding out for around £35 million. Manchester United believe more clubs will enter the race towards the end of the window. So that was the first bit. And then it goes on to say that David Moyes has told the West Ham owners to do everything to get Maguire to the club. Moyes is really, really keen on him, clearly, isn't he? And then also on this same story, it says a Manchester United source has said it's not just United who think West Ham's current offer is a lowball. Harry Maguire sees other players moving for far bigger sums without half of his experience and pedigree. And it even goes on to say that apparently Harry Maguire is insulted by West Ham's offer. It says Harry Maguire is said to feel insulted by West Ham's £20 million bid for him. I mean, you literally couldn't make it up, could you? Harry Maguire is apparently insulted by their bid. It's absolute comedy, isn't it? It really, really is. I honestly don't know what to say. Like, come on, Harry, mate. If you want to play in the Euros, you've got to move. You really, really do. Like, you can be insulted all you want. They might have shattered your ego, but you're not going to play for Manchester United, are you? So, you know, you've just got to do the right thing and you've got to move. Now, there's another story that came out this morning, and I think this is maybe a bit premature, but I'm going to bring it into the show anyway. So there's a journalist in the UK saying that West Ham have started the process of signing Manchester United pair Scott McTominay and Harry Maguire by giving them long-distance medicals. I mean, that's a term I've never heard before, long-distance medicals. The pair have had their records sent to West Ham, which will now be personally checked. So there's one journalist in the UK who is ultimately reporting that West Ham are doing medicals with Scott McTominay and Harry Maguire. I think that's too premature, but obviously I'm not a journalist. I'm just here to give you my opinion. I bring you the news, we talk about it, and we give each other's opinions. I don't think we're at that stage in the deal, to be completely honest. I really, really don't. I don't think Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay will be West Ham players by tomorrow, you know? Medicals are usually after you've agreed a fee. So I think that's maybe a little bit premature from this journalist, but as we've said, David Moyes is desperate for both of those players. He really, really needs to strengthen his squad. West Ham are the only side in the Premier League not to sign anybody this summer. They haven't signed a single player, not one. They've just signed sold Declan Rice for over 100 million, and they've just sold or are about to sell Skamaka as well. So they've sold a lot of players and bought in nobody. There's another. This is funny as well. So this is on The Athletic. So again, a very reliable source. The Athletic are reporting that West Ham have apparently advertised their need for a left back, a centre back, a DM, a CM, an attacking midfielder, a winger, and a striker. So apparently, West Ham have publicly advertised. This is coming from The Athletic, that they want 7 signings this summer. West Ham's listed budget for each position is up to 20 million, but they are also exploring the loan market. So for some strange reason, The Athletic has put out this story that they're wanting 7 players this summer in 7 different positions, and they're willing to spend a maximum of £20 million per player. I mean, good luck to them on that. They're not going to get particularly good players, are they, for 20 million a piece? And maybe that's why they offered 20 million for Maguire, because they thought, oh, we can get a Maguire for 20, we can get McTominay for 20, maybe we can get somebody else for 20. Like, it doesn't work like that in football. When people like Moises Caicedo are worth 100 million, when bids for Conor Gallagher get rejected for 40 million, you're not going to get 20 Premier League players, 7 of them, sorry. You're not going to get 7 Premier League players for 20 million pounds, unfortunately, West Ham. I think that's going to be very, very difficult. I just thought that was very, very funny. I did. We've got 700 of you in the chat now, which is absolutely massive. Big ups to everybody who is joining us this evening. Please do smash a like on the video if you haven't already, everybody. And please do subscribe to the channel. I've just dropped a link in the chat. I will be giving out a membership if we hit 8,500 by the end of this stream. So do get involved. Big ups to everybody who is watching this evening. And do get your comments in, get your questions in. I do try and make it as interactive as possible. Right, let's carry on and let's move on to Scott McTominay. So the same journalist who put out the story about them having medicals has said the following: Manchester United do not see West Ham as a direct rival and are happy to sell Harry Maguire to them. Scott McTominay is also going to lose his place and may never really see his links with Manchester United continue. So ultimately, the stories that are coming out that both Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay are surplus to requirements. They're not going to get game time next season, which I think is fair. I really do think that's fair. I can't see either of them getting much. You know, they're not. Scott McTominay's not going to start over Amrabat or Casemiro, is he? Let's be completely straight here. There is no way on earth. Harry Maguire is not going to start over a fully fit Martinez, Varane or Lindelof. They both need to leave the club. I think everybody in the chat probably agrees on that. Is there anybody watching today or anybody watching on repeat who thinks that both Scott McTominay and Harry Maguire should be here next season? The only tiny little glimpse of hope I have for Scott McTominay is that he's come through the youth academy, and maybe you keep him for the homegrown quota. But based on actual quality and skill, he definitely isn't needed anymore. I would honestly rather see Kobe Mainoo get game time than us bother with Scott McTominay. You know, he's in his mid-20s. He's not going to get any better. You know what? I'll probably be sat back here in a year's time. Scott McTominay will move to West Ham. He'll have an incredible season, and everyone will say, you were completely wrong. Scott McTominay's a good player. Maybe that will happen. And if it does, I'm happy for him. I want him to prove us wrong. I want him to go to West Ham and have a great season. You know, I always wish all the best for our players. I'm not the type of person who's like, get out of my club. Like, I'm not that type of person. I honestly just think for the best of both the club, the player, and all the rest of it, both of them leaving makes the most sense. So let's hope that this one does happen. Imagine how streamlined it would be as well if West Ham take both Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay in one swoop. That would be so good, wouldn't it? It would be so easy. I'd say, at this point, I would take 25 for Maguire and 35 for Scott McTominay. I'd be happy with that. 60 million combined. Let me know in the comments section, if West Ham do put in this bid that's reported for both McTominay and Maguire, how much would you be happy to let the pair go for? I've said 25 for Maguire and 35 for McTominay. I think that would be fine. Even if some of it was add-ons, I think a total package of 60 million for both of them, I'll take that any day of the week. That allows us to go and get another striker then. We could enter the race. We could go and get Kolo Muani. We could go and get someone like Jonathan David. We could go and get Mohamed Kudus. Like, it literally opens so many doors for us if those two players leave the club. It will free up so many wages, and I'm really hoping that it does happen. But let me know what you think. Let me know what your kind of package would be if you were, a Scott Maguire, a Scott McTominay, and a Harry Maguire combination to West Ham. What would you do the deal for? Just before you do give that, Manchester Evening News are reporting the following. Manchester United will demand £40 million for McTominay, who is a valued squad player. It does go on to say that Kobbie Mainoo's injury could put the brakes on any exit for McTominay too. I'm not sure about that because I think Amrabat's coming in. I don't think we need Scott McTominay. I know Kobbie Mainoo's injured, but he never started in the Premier League for us last season anyway. So it's not like you've just lost Casemiro and you're saying, oh, we can't let McTominay go now. As much as I want Kobbie Mainoo to succeed, let's not pretend that he started every game of the season last year and was our best player. He's a youth player and he's going to slowly be brought into the team. So I don't see any legs in keeping McTominay just purely because Kobbie Mainoo got injured. I don't think that's a very tangible answer. And I think Manchester United asking for 40 million is maybe a little bit rich. I think somewhere around 30 to 35 would probably be fair. Just really quickly, actually, there's some breaking news coming out in the last couple of minutes. Obviously, we did speak about Matt Turner and the goalkeeper situation earlier on in the show. So Sky Sports have just reported in the last 5 minutes that Nottingham Forest want to sign both Matt Turner and Dean Henderson. So just to be very clear, we did speak about this earlier on in the show, and I think a lot of you were getting a bit upset about the fact that Dean Henderson didn't look like he was going. But Sky Sports have just confirmed that apparently they are in the race for both of those players. They want Matt Turner and Dean Henderson. I assume one would be the number one and the other the number two. But yeah, that's positive, that is, because I was getting a little bit concerned about that. I really was. We definitely need Dean Henderson to leave the club, 1,000% sure. But right, let's keep things rolling though. Let's keep things moving on the show this evening. Just a really quick one. We will be reading out some of your questions in the second half of the show. So if you do have a question to get in, do put the letter Q in front of your message and I will read some out in the second half of the show. Okay, so we've got a question coming in. Someone says, do you remember when we had a shortage of midfielders? Now we have a surplus and need to get rid of some. Yeah, I do remember that. I remember when Scott McTominay and Fred started every single game. And I remember how bad the football was. So if we manage to get rid of both of them in one window, I will be a very happy man. I really will. Right, let's have a look. What have we got? Kingsley says, Scott McTominay is not good enough to play for Manchester United. He always hides to receive the ball because he cannot play or guide the ball very well. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I do. I really do. He always hides away. And he isn't good enough to play for Manchester United. Maybe a bench player, but even then, I don't think he ever comes on and really does much in matches. Yeah, so for me, it's 100% sell for Scott McTominay. No hesitation whatsoever. Joe says Henderson doesn't want to stay anyway. Yeah, exactly. Henderson said a year ago that he didn't want to be at Manchester United. He definitely doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to be number two. He thinks he's better than what he is. Yeah, so get rid of him. No doubt about that. Let him go. Push him on. That's definitely the right decision. Jimmy's asking about Alex Telles. Alex Telles has already gone. Alex Telles went to Al Nassr for 6 million. So yeah, Alex Telles has left the club. He's not going to be, well, he's gone. He's gone. The only two players who have left the club from the kind of senior squad are Anthony Elanga for 15 million plus add-ons and Alex Telles for 6 million plus add-ons. So at the moment, those are the only two. Obviously, Zidane Iqbal left, but he wasn't really part of the senior squad, was he? So yeah. Alex says, will the pre-season injury to Mainoo be a reason to keep McTominay at the club, despite being someone who hides when a defender is on the ball? Yeah, I mean, that was the story that's coming out from Manchester Evening News, that Manchester United are keeping him because of the Kobbie Mainoo injury. But I think that's complete rubbish. I really do. I think there's no excuse for that. If you get rid of McTominay and bring in Amrabat, how does that make us any worse off? As long as you bring in Amrabat, it doesn't matter to me. You know, you get rid of Fred, you get rid of McTominay, you bring in Amrabat, and then maybe you bring in another midfielder if you really have to. But if you actually look at our midfield, we've got Donny van de Beek. We will speak about Donny in a minute, actually. Let's just focus on the players who I think will be here next season, right? We've got Casemiro, Mason Mount, Bruno Fernandes, Kobe Mainoo, and we'll have Amrabat. That's 5 midfielders. I think that's enough. You get rid of Donny, you get rid of Fred, and you get rid of McTominay. That's more than fine. Yeah, let's talk about Donny van de Beek really, really quickly then, because somebody has brought him up in the chat. So out of all of the outgoings at Manchester United at the moment, apparently Donny van de Beek to Real Sociedad is the most advanced deal. Yeah, so that one's the most advanced at the moment. Donny van de Beek does look like he will be moving to Real Sociedad. They have put in a bid. We're not sure at this stage whether it's a loan or a permanent transfer. Originally, it was a loan, and then it was a permanent transfer. So until we get full clarity on that, I won't speculate. But I'm just hoping it is a permanent deal. I really, really do. Yeah, I don't see any point in keeping. I don't see any point in loaning up Donny van de Beek. It makes 0 sense. It really, really does. I would rather keep him at the club. So let's just hope, let's keep our fingers and toes crossed that it is a permanent move for Donny. He can move on, you know, go and get some football, go and get some first team football. For Real Sociedad, I think he would do really, really well. He has less spotlight than he does at Manchester United. I think he'll do great. I really, really do. And I'm sure he'll be one of those players that in a couple of years' time, he's doing really well. And people are saying, you know, why did Manchester United never make him work and all the rest of it? But as always, I always wish our best for any of our players who leave the club. So yeah, let's hope that he does get this one over the line. I'm just trying to see if there's any clarity on what the fee will be, because at the moment it is a little bit unclear for Donny, but I'm going to try and get a bit of clarity on that for you really, really quickly. So Fabrizio has said the following on Donny van de Beek. Listen to this. Fabrizio says, I understand Manchester United and Real Sociedad are locked in talks for the Donny van de Beek deal. No negotiations will continue in the next few days. He says the feeling remains the same for Fred, who will 100% leave United. So it does look like both Fred and Donny van de Beek will be leaving Manchester United this summer. Obviously, the Galatasaray deal for Fred has broken down, which is a bit strange. That did seem like the most likely option. But as I said on the show this morning, in some ways, I'm actually quite happy that Fred isn't going to Galatasaray, because the amount of money they were offering was an absolute disgrace. It really, really was. They were offering about 10 million euros, which is about 7 or 8 million pounds. We should be getting at least 15 to 20 million for both Donny and Fred, in my opinion. 15 to 20 million pounds for both of those players each. Anything less than that, I think, is a bit rubbish. But yeah, let me know in the comment section, what is the minimum price you would accept for Fred, and what is the minimum price you would accept for Donny van de Beek? Let me know. I always like to see you guys' opinions, so do get involved. We've got 800 of you watching the show now, which is absolutely massive. Big ups to everybody who is joining us this evening. If you are new here, please subscribe to the channel. It's completely free. We're live every single day at 8 a.m. UK time and 6 p.m. UK time, so do get involved in the community. We've got a really, really good community here, so do make sure you go and subscribe. And if you are a regular, please do smash a like on the video. We're now 60 subscribers away from 8,500, and I will be gifting a membership to somebody in the chat if we hit 8,500 by the end of this stream today. So Richie Club Sport says, Kieran, have you seen the video where Palestri's parents saying he's leaving permanently as lack of games and doesn't want a loan? It will be a disaster. I haven't seen that, to be honest with you, mate. I haven't. I would be absolutely gutted if Palestri leaves the club permanently. I will be so gutted. I think he is a quality player. I think he has all of the attributes to go on to be a future Manchester United player. He really, really does. Some would even argue that he looks better than Amad Diallo. So yeah, in short, I haven't seen that video. Apparently Manchester United are in the process of negotiating a new deal for Palestri, but that hasn't been confirmed yet. So he hasn't signed this new contract at this point. So there is a chance he might leave. Although all of the news we're hearing is that it will be a loan offer. It won't be a permanent deal. I'm just having a look how long his contract is at the moment. Let me have a quick look. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm just checking Palestri's contract for you. So Palestri's got 2 years left plus the option of a third year. So he's got 3 years left on his deal effectively. So I would be very surprised if Manchester United get rid of him. I would. I don't know why they'd get rid of him. Like, it makes no sense. It doesn't. He is a quality player. He really is a quality player. Let me know in the comment section, though. Would you get rid of Palestri? Would you be upset if he went on a permanent deal? I definitely would be. I really would. I think he needs to go out on loan to someone in the Premier League, someone like Luton, someone like Burnley, someone where he's going to play every single match. yeah, I honestly think we'll regret it if we let Pellistri go on a permanent deal. So yeah, in short to your answer, Richie, I haven't seen that video. If you send it to me, on Twitter, I'll check it out. But yeah, I haven't seen it. Just a really quick one. There's a bit of breaking news coming in the last couple of minutes. So Rasmus Holland, there's pictures of him now at Manchester United getting all of his photo shoot and stuff done. So yeah, we are obviously going to get all of that marketing stuff tomorrow. If any of you care about that, we will get to see him in all of the shirt and all of that stuff. But he is effectively a Manchester United player. He signed the contract. Fabrizio Romano's confirmed that. Right, let's read out a couple more questions. So Mount says, another week wasted by Manchester United. Media dragged this Højlund deal for days. Where's the next player? I 100% agree with you, mate. I 100% do. The Rasmus Højlund deal was here we go a week ago. We got the here we go from Fabrizio 1 week ago, literally. And he still hasn't been confirmed. He has signed the contract, just to be very, very clear. But Manchester United is still milking it, aren't they? They're still being like, oh, we're going to announce him tomorrow. And like, I don't want to say we don't care anymore, because that's a bit, like, obviously we do care and we're excited and we wish him all the best, but we were kind of hoping we'd have somebody else through the door by this point, weren't we? I thought we'd have Amrabat by this point. I thought Rasmus Højlund would be starting the game tomorrow. I didn't think it would be, oh, we're just going to announce him tomorrow and he'll probably won't even start on Sunday. This is a question I've got for you, actually. Let me ask you really, really quickly. Do you think Rasmus Højlund will feature in the game against Athletic Club on Sunday? So obviously we've got a game tomorrow against Lens, but then we've also got another game on Sunday against Athletic Club. Do you think he will feature on Sunday? Let me know in the comments section. I think he might. Big ups to Jimmy, who's just gifted a membership to somebody in the chat. Whoever gets the membership, do make sure you say thank you to Jimmy. So Amnat's been gifted the membership from Jimmy. Big ups to Jimmy, absolute legend. If you do want to join the Daily Red Devils Members Club, you can do it by following the $ in the chat. Do get involved in the community if you can. And again, massive shouts to Jimmy for gifting the membership. And welcome Amnat to the Members Club. Yeah, the Members Club's growing really, really quickly now. So big ups to everybody who has been in there since the beginning. I'm not going to put the price up on it. I'm going to leave it at the price it is, which is about half of what most other channels do. So yeah, if you are in a position to join the Members Club or do super chats and all the rest of it, then obviously you know to follow the $. Alex says, is it true that Fiorentina have left Amrabat out of their squad for the up-and-coming game? Yes, that is true. We have spoke about that earlier on in the show. So if you did miss the section on Amrabat, just go rewind a little bit back, and we did speak about him at length. But in short, yes, they have. They haven't included him in the squad for the preseason matches. Right, let's keep things moving though. I will come back to the chat in a minute. So if you do have any other questions, do get your questions in and I will come back to them in a bit. So just make sure you put the letter Q in front of your message and I will, I'll come back to that when I get a chance. Right, obviously we're going to talk about this topic because I know a lot of you have mixed opinions on it, but apparently the announcement for Mason Greenwood is going to come in the next couple of days. That's what's being reported earlier on today. Fabrizio said yesterday that it would be within the next 48 hours. Obviously, that announcement hasn't happened. Some people on Twitter, not Fabrizio, just to be very, very clear, some other smaller journalists, let's say, are even saying that they think that there's going to be an announcement today about Mason Greenwood. Obviously, we don't have confirmation on that. We will have to wait and see, but we do know for a fact that we will know what's going on with Mason Greenwood by the time the season starts. But there are a couple of journalists on Twitter today saying that they have had information that apparently he's going to be announced in the next kind of days. We have spoke about him quite a lot. I do think that he's going to come back. I do. I think Mason Greenwood will be a Manchester United player again. I really, really do. I just think it's kind of obvious at this point. Like, I don't want to do like percentages and stuff and all the rest of it, but if you were to ask me now, will Mason Greenwood play for Manchester United again? I think he will, yeah. I think he will. Whether or not he plays again straight away this season, that's probably the most hard bit to predict. But at the same time, I would not be surprised at all if this time next week we see pictures of Mason Greenwood in the Manchester United shirt training. I wouldn't. I would not be surprised at all. It's been so quiet around what's going on with it. Yeah. Maybe I'll be wrong. But I don't know. I just have this gut feeling that they are going to say that he's staying. I think there'll be some sort of interview where it'll be him and his partner and they'll come out on the TV, and they'll talk about what happened and rehabilitation and all of these types of things. I think that's probably what's going to happen. I think that's the most obvious thing. I think if he got released from the club, I'd be shocked. I really, really would. I'd say it's very unlikely, but you never know in football, do you? Yeah. I just think that we need clarity on it. I really, really do. I don't want to be talking about it going into the season. I want to know, I want the people who own the club to have made a decision so we can just start the season and we can all just get on with it. Obviously, we can have that conversation once it happens. We can decide whether they've made the right decision. We can talk about it as a community. But if you were to ask me now, Kieran, do I think Mason Greenwood will play for Manchester United again? I would say yes. But I do think that maybe, somebody's just said this in the chat and I was literally about to say it. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if he maybe goes into the under-21s or the under-23s, has a year there where he ultimately can start playing football again, he can train again, and then he'll be brought back into the squad. That's what I probably think is going to happen. But that's just my opinion. And I've seen quite a lot of other people today saying that there's going to be an announcement today. Yeah, just a really quick one. This obviously isn't a Manchester United signing, but Chelsea have confirmed the signing of Axel Disasi from Monaco. Obviously, he was high up on our list of centre-backs this summer as a potential replacement for Harry Maguire. But Axel Disasi from Monaco has just confirmed that he has joined Chelsea. So that's another centre-back that we're not going to be getting this year. But to be honest, I'm not too bothered. I'm really, really not. I'm not really convinced by this Axel Disasi guy. I'm not massively convinced by Jean-Claire Todibo. I've said to you many, many times before, we need to get Antonio Silva from Benfica. He is unbelievable. Right, let's read out a couple of your questions as well. We've got over 800 people watching, which is massive. Big ups to everybody in this community. If you haven't already, please do like and please do subscribe if you're new. We're now 60 subscribers away from 8,500, and I will gift a membership if we hit that by the end of this video. So do go and subscribe if you haven't already. Somebody's asking about the kit numbers. I don't know about kit numbers at the moment, to be completely straight with you. So Malk says, whatever happens to Mason Greenwood is out of our hands. Whatever the club do, I'll be behind it. Okay, fair enough. Obviously, you're entitled to your opinion. Paul says, oh no, he's asking a question to somebody in the chat, so I will ignore that. So Richie says, Greenwood is staying, and that is why we're not getting another striker. I said that on the show this morning. Like, you know what the Glazers think like. They think about their pockets. Why would they go and sign another player when they have Mason Greenwood there, you know? For them, that is the obvious decision. The Glazers are going to be all sat there saying, okay, so we've just spent £60 million on somebody who's 20 and is young and promising. Wait a minute. We've got this guy called Mason Greenwood who, you know, scored more goals than Rasmus Holland, is a better player than Rasmus Holland, arguably. Let's just bring him back. So yeah, I do kind of agree with you, Richie, and that's why I think that he will come back, because if it was a different club, I think he probably would have been released a long time ago. But knowing the Glazers, they just see him as 60 to 100 million pound asset. Like, how much is Mason Greenwood worth? That's a good question, actually. Let me know in the comments section. How much do you think Mason Greenwood is worth? Obviously, at the moment, he's worth less than he was before. But when he was playing every single week for Manchester United, scoring goals, how much do you think he was worth? I reckon he's worth anywhere between 60 and 100 million. I do. You know, he's come through the youth academy. He's cost us nothing. He was banging in goals. He looked like a generational talent. He was doing really, really well for Manchester United. I would say that if he was then going to be sold to another club, he'd be worth 60 to 100, based on we just paid 60 for Rasmus Holland. So, yeah, I do agree with you, Richie. I definitely do. The Glazers see it as a cheaper alternative. Yes, it will annoy some fans. Yes, it might annoy the sponsors, but it's going to save them money in the big picture. Jimmy says, we need another striker. Greenwood will get abuse. Yeah, I do agree with you. I've said this to you many, many times about Mason Greenwood. I honestly think that the divide it will cause if he comes back will be absolutely crazy. It'll be like nothing you've seen before. It really, really will. Every single press conference, Ten Hag will get asked about it. Every single away match. I'm not going to lie to you, all right? I honestly think that a lot of the Old Trafford fans will boo him. I do. That's just my opinion. You saw what happened to Kurt Zouma, right? Obviously, it's a completely different story, but the West Ham fans still boo Kurt Zouma. They do. Like, I think a lot of the people at Old Trafford won't welcome him back. I don't, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you think that I'm talking rubbish, but that's just my opinion. Yeah. Sarandeep says, how much would Antonio Silva cost from Benfica? I think he's going to cost quite a lot. I really, really do. He's 18 years of age. He's already playing for the Portuguese national team. He's obviously a starting player for Benfica. He had a really, really good Champions League run as well. I think he'd cost 50 million to 100 million. I really, really do. Based on the fact that Gvardiol just moved to Man City for 90 million euros. And I genuinely would say that Antonio Silva, in my opinion, is going to be a better player than Gvardiol. I really do believe that. Paul says, do you think United will do what United do and get Kane as the last few days of the transfer window signing? We always sign someone late. I think in usual seasons we would have done that, but I think that it's literally make or break today for Harry Kane. Either he'll move to Bayern Munich today, which I think probably will happen at this stage. They've just put in this bid of £85 million. And they've said, if you don't answer us tonight, we're going to pull out. So I think either he'll go to Bayern Munich, or he'll stay for one more season and then he'll leave as a free agent next year. And I would not be surprised at all if Manchester United enter the race for Harry Kane next season as a free agent. Right, let's keep some more comments coming in. We've got loads and loads of questions coming in, so big ups to everybody who is getting involved in the chat today. We've got about 15 minutes left of the show, so do make sure to smash a like if you haven't already, and do make sure to subscribe. We're now 50 subscribers away from 8,500. I did promise to gift a membership to someone in the chat if we hit 85 by the end of the show, so do make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Right, I'm going to read out a couple more of your comments as well. So Emmanuel says, do you think if Holland does better than Weghorst in everything is a good season for him? I mean, it's going to be pretty much impossible for him not to do better than Weghorst, to be very blunt with you. I mean, how many goals did Weghorst get for us last season? 2, 3? If Rasmus Holland gets less goals than Weghorst, I will be absolutely devastated. I will. I'm not really a betting man, but I would bet that Rasmus Holland's going to score more goals than Weghorst. Weghorst was absolutely rubbish, let's be completely honest. He really, really was. He scored... Last season, right, he scored no goals in the Premier League. He scored 1 goal in the Europa and 1 goal in the... He scored 2 goals in... He scored about 2 goals in 30 matches, Weghorst. If Rasmus Holland doesn't beat that, I will be absolutely gutted. I will be shocked if that doesn't happen. Jamie says, do you think the Amrabat deal is a cash or a swap deal? I think the Amrabat will be a straight purchase. It won't be a swap deal. There's been no signs that it will be a swap deal. I'd be very, very surprised if it is a swap deal, but you never know. Right. Jason says, what are your thoughts on the Santos striker Marcus Leonardo, as there are some reports saying we've joined the race for him? We did speak about him on the show this morning. I'll be completely honest, before 24 hours ago, I've never heard of him. I did go and watch some videos. I've read a few scouting reports, and this Leonardo guy from Santos in the Brazilian league, he looks absolutely quality. He's still very, very young. He's in the Brazilian under-21s team. He got about 16 goals last season in the Brazilian league. I definitely would go for him. I would. Alex says, if Greenwood stays, will this lead to players leaving our women's team in protest at the decision? I have no idea. I really, really don't. I assume whatever will happen with Greenwood will be spun in a way that will make it seem better than it is, if that makes sense. There'll be some sort of interview. It's not just going to be Greenwood returning and that's it. That won't happen. I'd be very, very surprised if that happens. You know what Manchester United are like. They'll do an interview. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes on the overlap with Gary Neville. Something like that, you know, and there'll be so much more to the story. I'm obviously just speculating, but I would not be surprised in the slightest if there is more to the, you know, more comes out about the Mason Greenwood story. Him and the partner do an interview, and then all of this stuff happens, and maybe that will change the opinions of some people, you know. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's too early to say, like, will women leave the women's team if he comes back, because we don't know the full picture at this stage, and until that decision's been made by Manchester United, I don't think we can really predict whether, you know, women will start leaving the women's club, to be honest. But yeah, right. Red Devil says, Kieran, after we get Amrabat, what would you rate this transfer window? That's a great question. Thank you for that one, Red Devils United. Ingoings, I'd probably say like an 8 out of 10 if we get Amrabat. Outgoings, I'd probably say like 2 out of 10. Honestly, the outgoings have been an absolute disgrace this summer. They have. If we get rid of McTominay, Maguire, Dean Henderson, Bailly, Fred, all of these people, Donny, I would say it's an 8 or a 9 out of 10 for outgoings. This window could easily be a 10 out of 10. I'm not even joking. It could easily be 10 out of 10. We just need to sell players. We need to sell players and then reinvest the money. It really is that easy, but obviously, you know, we're not the people running Manchester United, so I'm sure they're trying their best. Somebody says, is it right if Greenwood comes back? I've given you guys my opinion on Mason Greenwood before and what I think about it. If anybody really wants me to go back into it again, but ultimately it's up to you whether you want Mason Greenwood to come back. I'm not going to sit here and dictate whether it's right or wrong for you to have an opinion on it. As long as you're respectful in your opinions, I have absolutely no issue with you guys voicing them. So yeah, you can just decide amongst yourselves, or you can decide individually whether you feel comfortable with Mason Greenwood playing for Manchester United again. At this point, I'll be honest, this is probably going to upset people in the chat or whatever with differing opinions, but I'm not comfortable with him playing for Manchester United again, personally. But that's just my take on it. Obviously, if you disagree, then that's up to you, you know. And I'm not gonna say you're a bad person for having a differing opinion, and I hope you don't think I'm a bad person for having a different opinion. But obviously, someone's asked, and I have given it. Emmanuel says, "Are you doing a watch along tomorrow?" Yes, we will be doing a watch along for the Lens game. It's a 12:45 kickoff, and I probably will be live from about 12 o'clock for that one. Obviously, I want to watch the Rasmus Holland unveiling because I'm really, really excited about that. Alex says, after the false accusations that Gary Neville made about Bruno saying he did not want to be on the pitch against Liverpool, shouldn't the club have nothing to do with him unless he apologises? I don't really know, to be honest. I don't. Marcus Rashford just did an interview with Gary Neville for the overlap, so I think that's kind of gone out the window. I literally watched that a couple of days ago. Yeah, I don't know. And anybody who's going to the game tomorrow as well, honestly, the atmosphere when they unveil a new player is unbelievable. I did tell you on the preview earlier, but I was at the game when they unveiled Raphael Varane. We beat Leeds United 5-1, and before the game they brought out Raphael Varane. And honestly, I watched back that clip earlier of the unveiling, and I had goosebumps. It was the best football match I've ever been to in my life. Just to paint a bit of a picture, obviously the UK was in lockdown for 2 years. This was the first game back at Old Trafford since lockdown. So 2 years of no football in stadiums. The first game back in the Premier League against our massive rivals, Leeds United. I was at the game. They bring out Raphael Varane before the match. And honestly, it was one of the most special experiences I've had of my life. Honestly, it really, really was. It was so, so special. So big ups to anybody who's going to the match tomorrow. And I do hope you enjoy it. Right. We've got 10 minutes left of the stream tonight, so do get a couple of questions in, and I will read them before. I will read them before. I will. Where are we? So Emmanuel says, if Martial is not injured this season, how many goals will he score? That's a question I like, and I'm going to ask that back to the chat. How many goals do you think a fully fit Anthony Martial will score for Manchester United? I have this feeling, right? I know some people are going to disagree with me, and I know some people are going to say, get him out of my club and all the rest of it, but I honestly think this season is going to be the redemption season for Anthony Martial. I think he's going to have a good season. I think he's going to score some goals. And I think at the end of the year, he's a free agent and he'll go and get a move to somewhere else. I think it's going to happen. I've got high expectations for Anthony Martial this season. I really, really do. He's had such a torrid time over the last 2 or 3 years, but nobody in the chat can deny that a fully fit Anthony Martial is a good player. He is quality. Right, let's have a look. How many goals did he get? So let's have a quick look. Obviously, last season was terrible for Martial. The season before that was terrible for Martial. I mean, yeah, it is a bit bleak, isn't it, when you look at his stats? The last time that Anthony Martial had a good season was 2019. So it's been 4 years since Anthony Martial had a good season. He scored 17 goals and got 7 assists in that season. So for me, that's the expectation for Martial this season. 10 to 15 goals in the Premier League. I think he needs to do that. He needs to contribute. I definitely don't think he should stay at Manchester United next season. I think we should 100% release him. But if we can get 10 to 15 goals out of Anthony Martial this year, I'll be absolutely buzzing with that. I really, really will. And as I said, I do think this will be his redemption season. I think he's going to be much better. And yeah, I've got high expectations for him. I really, really do. Someone says, do you think our team can transit when playing with Højlund as a 9 and then Sancho as a false 9 in the same game? Yeah, potentially. Potentially. I do quite like Sancho as a false 9. I do. And I think that's probably where he's going to play most of his football this season because we've got so many wing options. Yeah, I think he will get some game time there. I do. Absolutely mental. Just a really quick one. Apparently Chelsea have put in a bid of 90 million for Moises Caicedo, which has been rejected by Brighton. Mental. 90 million. Mental, mental, mental. I said this on a stream a couple of days ago, but I'm so glad we didn't try and push forward with that deal for Caicedo. 90 million pounds and Brighton have rejected it. They want 100 and that's what, you know, that's what they want. Right, where are we? Alex says, if Spurs accept the latest offer from Bayern Munich, could Manchester United place a slightly higher bid for Kane to try and hijack the move? In a similar way, we got Malacia by bidding slightly higher. Yeah, in theory we could. Yeah, that could happen. I just don't think at the moment, unless we get some players sold, unless Dean Henderson, Maguire, McTominay, unless some of these more valuable players leave, I don't see how we could put in a £80 million plus bid for Harry Kane at this point. I just don't see that happening. I think we could do it. I do. But at the moment, we don't have the money. We don't. Andrew says, how much will we get if we sell Maguire, Scott McTominay, Donny, Fred, Dean Henderson? So let's do that really, really quick together. Let's do some maths together. So 25 for Harry Maguire, I think. 35 for Scott McTominay, that's 60. 15 for Donny, 75. 15 for Fred, that's 90. And 20 for Dean Henderson. That's 110 million pounds there. And some of you in the chat will be saying, oh, Fred's worth more than that. That's 110 million pounds, easy. So let's just hope that they do get these people out of the club, because 110 million, who'd you go and get with that? You could go and get Mohamed Kudus. You could go and get this Antonio Silva from Benfica. You could get 2 or 3 players for 110 million. That's a hell of a lot of money. But yeah. Somebody's saying Rasmus Holland is posted on Facebook. That is exciting. I'm just going to check this out now, guys. If you haven't liked the video, please do smash a like really, really quickly. And please do subscribe to the channel. Yeah, Rasmus Holland's just posted on Facebook. He's just posted a picture of him in a Manchester United shirt with his face blurred out. So, yeah, if anybody... I'll see if I can put it in the chat. Let me just drop it in the chat really, really quickly. Give me 1 second. Bear with me here, guys. I'm just dropping this in. So Rasmus Holland has just posted on Facebook, which is quite exciting, isn't it? You know, he's just generating hype. So here is the picture. There you go. Yeah, so for anybody who is interested, Rasmus Holland has just put this picture up on his Facebook. I like it. I do. I like it. He's building up hype. Yeah, I'm buzzing for him. I am. I'm absolutely buzzing for him. I'll remove that now just because it is a bit annoying. Let's get rid of that. Phil says Palestri should be getting games ahead of Sancho. I don't disagree. I don't. Sarandeep says, where would Kudus fit our team as our attack is packed? Well, the thing with Kudus is he can play as a centre forward, he can play as an attacking mid, and he can play as a right wing. So if Donny goes, Fred goes, you do have a bit more options in that midfield position. I think he would play as a centre forward, and I do think sometimes he could play on the right, sometimes he could play in the attacking midfield. I think we do have options for him. That's why I like Kudus so much. I think he's a quality player, but he's also versatile. Yeah, he gives us lots of different options. Right, I think this is a really good place to wrap up the video. We've had over 800 people watching today, which is absolutely mega. So massive, massive shouts to everybody in this community. Obviously, for anybody new, we do go live every single day at 8 a.m. UK time and 6 p.m. UK time. If this is your first time watching the channel today, do make sure you go and subscribe to the channel. It's completely free, it doesn't cost any money. And if you are a regular, please do smash the like button on your way out. I will be back at 8 a.m. UK time tomorrow morning, and we will be doing a watch along for the Lens match. So do get involved in the community. Thank you so much to everybody who's watched today. Thank you for all of your input, all of your questions. It's been a really, really good stream. So big ups to everybody who's involved. I hope you have a lovely evening, day, morning, wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you guys later. Lots of love and peace out.